Hello everybody, my name is Clear Music and welcome to a sort of tutorial thing, but I'm going to be teaching you 3 things your growls need to have, sort of. So to demonstrate, I've made this growl and then I will talk about what we've done, or what you're supposed to do. Just, here, listen to this. Yeah, it might not sound that great because, I don't know if I mentioned this in previous videos, but now, for some reason, my OBS sound is not recording my desktop audio. Still working on fixing that. It's just coming through my mic. Sorry. But yeah, I'm going to talk about 3 things that your growl should have. And I'm going to be showing you how to accomplish those 3 things in Serum. So, although just about any synth can do this, but yeah. Okay, here we go. First thing your growl is you're really going to want it to have is you want it to be very heavy. You want it to sound heavy, and by heavy I mean you want it to be loud, and you want it to sound like really thick and be crunchy and good and stuff like that. And yeah, there's an exception to each one of these. Sometimes you might need a bass to sound. You might not want it to be heavy. You might just want it to be a filler bass. Yeah. Next one is going to be you want it to be interesting sounding. You don't want it to be. This one I didn't really accomplish it that well. Sorry, but I want it to at least be kind of interesting to listen to, like, whoa, that sounds kind of cool. You don't want it to just be boring, but then again, you might want it just to have a really boring sound. That might be what you're looking for. There is an exception to every rule. Yes. And the last one is you want it to have lots of motion. And by motion, I mean it doesn't have to move very fast. I mean, like, here I have an LFO modulating most of everything in here except for this one, which does the pitch. Yeah, and like from one side, from the low end of the LFO to the high end of the LFO, they sound very different, so it moves plenty. So you can hear the difference between both ends of the sound. But then again, you might just want one that's just boring. But that sort of goes along with the interesting one. So I'm going to teach you how to accomplish these things by starting a new bass from scratch. And by the way, there are no effects on any of these. It's just by itself. So, first thing I usually start out with is I start out with a wavetable. Well, I mean, I start out with like an interesting one. I have a ton of them. You can't see here, but I'm going to be going right now into Spectral and then selecting the Monster 4 wavetable. Monster 4. Some people just play really low notes, but I like to lower it down a little bit. I might change this to Monster 5. I'm going to change it to Monster 5. Then I'm going to click this thing right here and go to the wavetable editor. Go down here, you can't see it, but there's a multis, and then process squarify. Click that, wait for it to do its thing, and basically it removes all of the even harmonics, not odd, sorry, the even harmonics, it removes all the even harmonics and makes it sound like a square wave. Usually I end up lowering another octave. Also, I'm going to go process normalize each, which makes it louder again. Also, when I move through, it's not very smooth. So I'm going to morph spectral. No, this is already a spectral one. I'm going to try maybe morph crossfade. Actually, I think I need to select all of them for this. Which to do this, use shift and then double click. Morph crossfade. There we go. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an LFO. You can do this with macros and stuff and then automate them, but right now I've been in more of an LFO mood, so I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to make an LFO shape sort of like this. Then, if I want to make it exact, you can hold Alt in Serum and it just snaps it. Boop, and then do one like this. And then I can also, if I hold Alt, what? Why is it doing that? Maybe I need to hold Control? What? That's weird. Usually it makes all of them. Oops, that's the Windows button. That's strange. I don't know why it's alternating like that. You can do something like this. Modulate the wavetable position. Oh, also I'm going to make it slower. Actually, I'm just going to do something like this. Oops. Now it's sort of interesting, and it's kind of heavy a little bit, but we want it to be fun. So you can add any of these warp modes on here, which you can't see, annoyingly. So I'm going to select Ben Plus right now. I'm going to raise it back up or not do. What I like to do, though, is I like to select Remap 1, and then you can draw. Oh, you can see this window. That's weird. Drag it. I can't drag it. Whatever. And you can make your own warp modes, which is really cool. I like that. So if I flip it around like this, so that way this end is when it's like, so they move opposite directions. That's kind of cool, but really, the higher up the remap is, the more interesting the sound is going to be. And I don't, like, sometimes I'm going to want a sound that's interesting on both sides of the LFO, but really, I just want it to be, like, quiet, and then it gets way heavier on one side of the LFO, and then it doesn't. So I'm going to want something like this. Also, I'm going to make it get louder. And awesome. Now, okay, so it's sort of heavy, and it definitely moves, which is good. We like that. Now, I'm going to put on a filter, which, to make it more heavy, I'm going to remove the low end, which sounds kind of weird, but I will show you what I am doing. Now, I used to just always use high-pass filters on my basses, just about all the time, and I didn't really know why I was doing that. I had just been taught to do that, so I did. But I'm going to explain why I'm doing this. It seems kind of counterintuitive to remove the low sub-bass frequencies if you want it to sound heavier. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove the frequencies when the LFO is down and then have them come back in at the top of the LFO, making that end seem significantly heavier. So, like, I'm going to demonstrate extremely. Since we cut out all the bass, we basically cut out everything. We do it sort of like this. So all these sub-bass frequencies are cut out when the LFO is down here, and then when it comes back up, the cutoff moves down, and we can hear all those sub-bass frequencies. Yeah, I'm also going to put it on the drive, which is a good alternative to distortion. Maybe even add a bit of resonance. I don't know, I'm filling up the matrix here. Awesome. We're going to go into the effects now, and another thing I like to do is add hyperdimension. I turn the mix down and then modulate that. Also like to add a phaser. And then turn off the rate when I get to where it sounds nice, and then modulate the depth. Mix it in. Sort of hear it. And then I like to turn on a compressor and turn it to multiband mode, because Serum's multiband compressor really gives it a nice metallic sound. So you can hear the difference. I don't know if this one is fit for a multiband compressor, but I'm putting it on there anyway. Awesome. I'm also gonna mess with the attack and release. Okay, great. Now, it's sounding pretty nice. I'm gonna mess with the level a little more. And that's nice. So it really cuts out that part of the sound that I don't like. Awesome. We almost filled up the matrix here. I still don't think we have like 5 more. Awesome. Now we're going to go into our matrix. Going to go to over here to the source. Sorry. Hit LFO2. Then select our destination as global master tune. Now this is just the pitch of the entire oscillator, of the entire synth, my bad. You could put it on the chorus pitch, but I like doing this in case I end up adding another oscillator or a sub-oscillator, which doesn't have a chorus pitch. I'm going to remove this other Serum real quick. Yeah. So I like doing that. Fun thing to do for pitch modulation, which it helps with more movement. So, to recap here, we have messed with the wavetable, so it is sort of interesting, and we've moved it around so it has plenty of movement. The level making it louder as once it gets to the top part of the LFO, and moving the cutoff down when it gets to the top part, as well as the drive and the resonance, gives it more movement and makes it more heavy. So good, we've accomplished just about everything we wanted. It's sort of interesting. It's not super interesting. But then we're going to go into this master tune here. We're going to turn this to 12. And this isn't exactly an octave, but honestly no one is going to notice. And I believe, do not quote me on this because I'm not 100% certain, but I believe in the newer version of Serum, you can double click here, somewhere around here, if there's like a setting in here that you can turn on, then double click and type 12ST for semitones, so it's exact. I'm pretty sure that's a thing you can do, but I don't have that version, and I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, so don't hold me to that. But I'm pretty sure you can. Someone confirm that down in the comments. So now it sounds like this. Sounds really weird, because it's going up and down about an octave. So we're going to set it to trigger, so it triggers the beginning of each time, and we're going to set it to the rate of the first one, which is 1 bar. But that's not really what I want. I want it to just fall, so I'm going to do this. You can also, if you want to make it a little more weird, you can make it with LFO1, so it just goes up and down with it. I think this would be better, another octave down. If we cut out even more of that bottom part, then it would sound like... maybe, I don't know. I think we're gonna stick with it like this. There you go. You have a nice heavy growl. So I have taught you not only how to make one, but how to make yours better in the future. If you enjoyed this Serum tutorial, damn, I cannot talk today, then please leave a like, or if you really want to support me, then subscribe, because that really helps. Also, I have an album out right now. It's called Project Infinite. You can pre-order it now. It's not actually technically out yet. I shouldn't have said that. But you can go and get it in the description, and that would really support me, and it would give me funds to make more Serum tutorials and do all this fun stuff, and get more packs to review for you guys, and it would just really help me out in general. So, I suggest you go and look at that. Even if you don't think you're going to buy it, still, give it a listen and see if you enjoy it. And leave a comment down below telling me what you want to see next.